reason that CM Punk is no longer with AEW. Yeah, he didn't specifically say it like that, Damien. Let's to be honest with you. Ooh, look at that. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. But yeah, no. So back to the point of you have this whole story come out today about Daniel Bryan led the disciplinary committee with a lawyer, with someone else, and they essentially came to the conclusion that Punk could no longer work there. And I posed this question to some people today, and I still kind of working it out in my head, but I'll ask the chat how you guys feel about this. But one, I feel like this story came out now to kind of take the heat, try to take the heat off of the man who's supposed to be in charge. I think this is there to take the heat off TK. Everyone's shitting on TK right now. Look what you did. You let Punk go. Look at all the love. Look at all the views. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Now it comes out, well, there was a committee and it was Daniel Bryan because, well, you universally loved. Not too many people have bad things to say about Daniel Bryan. So maybe this was the hope. We will take the heat off of, we'll take the heat off of Tony and we'll let them know that this happened. Ironically, coming off 24 hours prior, where TK said, we can't talk about it. We can't talk about what happened. Nobody needs to know what happened. There's legal ramifications to it. So, again, a little contradictory from the AEW side. Now, the other part of this question that I'll pose to everybody, and I did pose to some friends today, I feel like this decision to put this out there adds to the perception that Tony Khan is soft, that Tony Khan is weak, that Tony Khan, instead of being a man and making the decision, controlling his locker room, he put together some, pseudo disciplinary committee to make that decision on his behalf. Him trying to wipe his hand of responsibility of why Punk is no longer there, to me, doesn't make him look good. And I prefer if he would have just said, I made a choice. I was tired of his shit. He's money, but he couldn't get along with the guys that I'm keeping around here for long term. So he's got to go. I would have respected him more for that. That's it. I really think that it's an interesting case. But to kind of put the heat on Daniel, I mean, it is what it is. Great. Daniel sat down with some lawyers and said, okay, there was a fist fight. What do we do? I don't think this was malicious. I don't think it was, we know what Daniel Bryan is. Daniel Bryan's definitely drank the AEW Kool-Aid, but he's a great guy. And he might have had the opinion that a lot of people had. The fighting, the bullshit, the nonsense, whether it was Punk's fault or the Bucks' fault or whoever, at the end of the day, it was bad for AEW. It was splitting their fan base. It was, and this is actually one of the positives coming out of Punk signing with the WWE. Now there's no more Punk bullshit with AEW. They can all come together, sing Kumbaya, and right the ship, hopefully. Get things back on track, send it in the right direction. But at the end of the day, I mean, what are you going to do? You need Tony to step up. And ultimately, no matter what reports come out, to me, Tony at the end of the day doesn't look good. Tony had the biggest name in the business, and whether people love him, hate him, whether people liked his promo, didn't like his promo last night, it doesn't change a thing. He is selling more merch than anybody in both companies right now. He is the most talked about man in all of wrestling. Not Roman, not Seth, not MJF, not Danielson, not Okada. None of them get talked about more than CM Punk. What CM Punk had for breakfast is more news than what some of these wrestlers do in the ring. So that is my take with the whole situation now. I find it very interesting, the timing, like this rave review, this whole, groundswell that happened over the weekend for CM Punk. And it was, nobody cared about his AEW drama. Nobody gave a shit. 70 million plus impressions across the internet. This is huge. Now, I'm going to click on the chat a little bit, and then I got more about CM Punk. Leafs losing 1-0. Yeah, I mean, the Leafs got to pick up their ass. They've been struggling. Panthers coming off a hard-fought battle, which was all fights. There was so much bullshit going on in the Ottawa Panthers game yesterday that at one point the ref came over to the penalty box, and usually when they do the announcement of like 2 minutes for tripping, 2 minutes for roughing, He was just like, everybody gets 10s, and there was other stuff in there. I got to go. So it was quite funny because it was like 156 minutes in penalties. So the Leafs need to do better. But thank you for the news, Chamber. Nick, why are you not on my phone screen? He's taking a knee. He's taking a knee. Quite possibly, Mr. Money. What did Mr. Money say? Maybe the wise man gave him similar advice. Now I got to see what he said. They should have Punk on all 3 shows this week and make a decision on which brand he wants to go. They've already announced that Randy Orton will be on SmackDown. They've apparently somewhere, somehow, somebody has reported, whether it's true or not, we don't know yet. But not only is there plans for Punk and Seth, there's also plans for Punk and Roman. Randy Orton's mad at the bloodline as it is. He's going to SmackDown looking for revenge. We don't know when Roman's going to be on the goddamn show. And at this point, there's so much star power. Orton, Seth, Cody, Punk just came back. We have all these people. Roman can't keep that belt if he's not going to be on the show. Because I would argue Roman's no longer the biggest needle mover in the company. And if you want to capitalize on moving this needle, making this needle fluctuate, he's either got to be present and involved, or he's got to give up the belt, because we want to see other people battle for it. I don't give a fuck about Cody's story. I don't care about, well, he's breaking record. No,